In this last section, I want to show you two more things. First of all, I have created 4 points, and again, I have used polyline and created this polyline, and again, I have hidden the sketch that contains the points. Now, I want to take this into generative structural analysis environment. Again, I will select the static analysis type. And now the first thing I want to do is to add mesh into this. You can see that I have not added any thickness to this. I haven't applied any material. First, I want to go to Model Manager and select the beam measure from here. You can see that by selecting the beam measure, I can select it and the mesh is added. Let me refresh my page and see the dialog box. You can see that it is 10 millimeters by default. That's okay for me. So I click on OK. Now you can see that this has mesh. And of course, you cannot see that sign. If you go to nodes and elements and open this, you can see the 1D measure here. If I open this, you can see that I have the 1D mesh object definition, or if I want to select the group, I can select it. I'm not going to work with this. Second thing, I want to apply material to this. So I go to apply material, and here I want to select steel this time. Of course, you can select anything that you feel appropriate. Select this, and you can see that it is activated. And right now, I have steel here. The third thing is the property. Again, in Model Manager, I have here 1D property. If I open this, you will see that the 1D property is going to be under properties in a specification tree. So let's click on that, and you can see that I have one support. I select this. You can see that one edge is selected, and now you can see that I have dimension, and this is because cylindrical beam is selected. You can have different types of selections here. If you want to have rectangular, you should define a width and a height. If you want to have cylindrical, you should define a radius or anything that this is there. So let's click on this little button. You can see the radius is 0. I want to have a radius of, for example, 2.5, and click on OK. Now you can see that the radius is there and cylindrical is selected. If you want to have offset, orientation, geometry, or anything else, you can select them, but I'm not going to have any of them, so I click on OK. You can see that I have thickness, I have material applied to this, and I have meshed it. Now if I open properties, I can have 1D properties, and opening this, right clicking on this, you can see that I can have local 1D properties. That means if I select it, I can tell that this part is, for example, cylindrical, and it is about 2.5 millimeter in radius. This part is going to be rectangular, and it is, for example, 2x3, and this part is other type. So if you want to have local properties for each segment of your beam, we can do that. I don't want to do that, so I cancel this out. And the next thing that I want to do is to put some pressure on this. Now the loads are different. I'm not going to talk about all loads, but here I want to select distributed force. And by selecting the distributed force, I want to put it here. And I have not selected any clamp yet. I will do that. Now you can see that distributed force has vectors. You can have it, for example, on Y vector. I want to have about, for example, 200 Newton in Y vector, and I'm going to have the global axis. So this is the type that I want to see. If I want to have it locally, I can click on display local, but I'm not going to do this. So you can see that the norm is 200 Newton because I have just selected Y. And if you change other vectors, you can see that the norm is going to change accordingly. So that's it. I click on OK. The force is there. Now I need to clamp one of the supports. So I select this, and you can see the support is there. Now I click on open. OK. Let's open material. Material, can see material is steel. And on static case, I have restraint. So I have one clamp. I have load that is distributed. Now if you don't see it, you can go and make it visible. And I'm not going to have this like this. So Let's do this. So the next thing I want to do is to change the storage if I wish and go and start computing. And again, it will take some time to estimate the calculation time and anything else. So after that, I can go and start imaging. You can see that the only thing that here is active under image is the formation. Now this is the deformation that is calculated, and you can see that it is added here, deformed mesh. I can activate it or I can deactivate it. You can see that here we have displacement if I want to have it, and of course other types of displacement, that is air, principal, stress is there, and you can activate or deactivate any of these two. Now this is the first thing that I showed you. Let's close this. I don't want to save it, just want to close this as well and create a new part. I go to part design environment here, click on OK, and start drawing another shape. I go to sketch environment. This is gone down. Why it is like that? It's not important, of course. Let's start by drawing something like a profile. Let's select this and draw this like, for example, this shape. And I want to finish this here, and selecting this, I select mirror tool, select this axis. Now I have the exact of this in the other side. Okay, now I want to have a circle here, and I want to have a rectangle here. So I select it and I exit. Now this is the sketch that I want to pad. I want to pad about 20 millimeter in both sides, so I select mirrored extent. That's it. Now I have this. I want to take it into analysis environment again. I need to apply material. I can do it right here or there, doesn't matter. But see this. Let's go to generative structural analysis. You can see that it tells me material is not applied. So this is a warning. This is not an error. But the thing is here, you can see that it is meshed by default. As I told you, the solids are meshed by default. So let's select static analysis and click on OK. Now this is this. Now the first thing I want to do is apply a mesh. I know I'm not going to apply a mesh because it is applied. And there the thing that I want to do is to apply material actually. Again, I want to select a material, and this time I'm going to select, for example, chroma. And select the body and click on OK, and you can see that it has the material. If I open here, you can see that. Of course, you can see that it is by default, it has by default the 3D property. If I want to change it, I can double click on that and change the property as you wish. As you can see, the material is there, support is there, and anything else that you want to. Okay, let's do this. This time I want to have other type of loads. You can see that we can have distributed force, and this distributed force has other types, for example the bearing load, and I want to use this one this time. I select the bearing load, and the support is going to be this side. You can see that I have a circle, an empty circle. I select this, and of course I can have it in different vectors again. I want to select y vector, and for y vector I apply it, for example, about 1000 newton. You can see that it is in this side. I want it to be in the other side, so I add a minus. I can see that it is like this. So clicking on OK. The next thing is to clamp this object. Let's zoom in a little bit. And I want to have this face as clamp, and because this is not circular, I have to select all these sides. So I select clamp here, selecting this. Let's rotate it a little bit and select the upper side, the left side, and again rotate. And rotating this, I can select this. Now I have clamped in all four sides inside, so I click on OK. The next thing I want to do is to go to calculation. So I select calculation, click on OK, and everything is there. So after pre-estimation, I click on yes. It takes me about 1 second, and that's it. It is calculated. I can have deformation like this. Under static case, you can see that the deformed is added here, deformed mesh. I can have one misses straight. I can have other types and anything else that is there. So I can activate each one of them and I can use them. So this is the type of bearing load that you can apply on your object. Now this is the last section on Catia. I want to talk about advanced mechanics of Catia in advanced series of Catia, and I hope you join me there.